Hi everyone, it's Debbie with Book and Bujo, where I talk about all things books, bullet journals, and stationery. Today is my January TBRopoly. Let's play. Not that it matters, because we always start fresh in January, but let's go ahead and see how I did in December. Now, I did have a reward, and that was to switch one prompt for a mood read or a book club book, and I did use that. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, my first prompt was an even card, and that was to read a graphic novel. And for this one, I did read Something is Killing the Children, Volume 4 by James Tinian IV. I love that series. Next, I landed on D20, and after a couple of rolls, I finally found a book I hadn't read yet, and that was Fate Changer, Penny Lost, the first book in the series, by L.M. Poplin. And I was a little concerned at the beginning of this one because it started out a little triggery and just a little harsh. Not harsh. Poor Penny is just down on her luck, and it's tough at the beginning because she's a youngin' and it was hard to read a little bit, but I'm glad I stuck with it because it ended up being really good and very interesting. Next, I landed on Classic, and I read A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, and yet again, loved it. Such a good story. And then I got an even card, and that was a random letter generator, and I got an S, and I chose Sky of Fire by Madeline Carr, and I have not started this yet. Now, we still have a week before the end of the year. Yeah, I have not started this yet. I'm hoping to at least start it. I don't think I'm going to get very far into it, though. Because I still have a lot of other library books that I'm reading. I am almost done with Tiny Habits. I should have this one done easily by the end of the year, but again, library books, so I wanted to prioritize that. And prequel to the Witcher series, and this one's Crossroads of Ravens, and again, I am almost done. So close. Almost done. And I am loving it. So good. Yeah, such a good story. I would highly recommend this one. If you love The Witcher at all, I would definitely read this one. And you probably could read it first, just read this one and then get into the rest of the series. I think it would probably be fine that way as well. I like reading it after, just because then you get the nuances and everything of who Geralt is and all of that, and then get his backstory. But I think reading this first would be fine too. And this is by Andrzej Sapkowski. Yeah, so once I finish those, then I can start in on Sky of Fire, and at some point, someday, I will finish To Green Angel Tower Part 2. I really do want to finish that one, and I love that one, but all these library books and TBRopoly books and everything have been getting in the way of me actually finishing that one. So hopefully, I will finish that one in January. We'll see what TBRopoly holds. Next, I landed on series, and that was to read the Anne of Green Gables series, and I did finish Anne of the Island by Lucy Maud Montgomery. Such a good series. The first 3 books are amazing. Next was an even card, and that was to read a memoir. And this is where my reward came in, because I wasn't really feeling reading a memoir, and I didn't have any really on my TBR. Since then, I have found some that I actually did want to read. But at the time, I had other books that I needed to put on the TBR before that. And I chose a mood read, which was actually a readathon book, and that was The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman. And I can see why everybody loves this book. The subject matter was not for me. I'm not into books that focus around babies and having children, that kind of thing. But I did enjoy the story itself, and I think most people would love it. Next was another even card, and that was to read a middle grade, and I read Puzzle Heart by Jen Reese, and that was so cute. Very reminiscent to me of the Winter House trilogy. It's so good. The son and the granddaughter come to visit the grandmother after the grandfather has passed away, and they live in a puzzle house. The grandparents kind of work together to create the puzzles and then build and construct the house, and it's really cool. It was a very fun concept. And then lastly, I ended on series again. I think TBRopoly was trying to tell me something. I needed to finish some series. And that was to read the Between Earth and Sky series. And I read the second book in the series by Rebecca Roanhorse, and that is Fevered Star. And this was very good, and I'm glad I got to it. One of the other books that I read for a readathon, which was off of my own TBR, so I'm glad I got to it, and that was The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent, the second book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. Loved it. So good. Such a great continuation to the story. No suffering from second book syndrome here. One of the other books that was on readathons for December that I did read and thoroughly enjoyed, 4.5 stars, not quite 5, almost. 4.5 for me, and that is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinneman. We'll definitely be continuing with the series. And I did pretty much complete all of the readathons that I was participating in December as well, so that was great. Since we don't have to worry about punishments or rewards, let's go ahead and move into how many rolls I will be doing for January. All right, there's no new items for my TBRopoly. I'm keeping it the same as I had it in 2025, but I do have some new things along with it. So with the challenge cards, I will add prompts from my year-long challenges, and I will also add prompts from my year-long readathons to the readathon prompt or cards. I also will be adding my 26 in 2026 cards. And let's go ahead and go through this real quick and make sure there aren't any that I have already read before I shuffle everything up and add the new ones. Oh, read that one. And I think that's probably it. That is it. So I have my 2023, my 2024, and my 2025 cards. There's a lot of 2025 cards left. You did see that I did laminate my even cards here, although I do have a couple that were still pulled out from the month I was in that I need to redo. My series, let's go ahead and go through these and make sure there aren't any that I finished. I don't think there are. I think all of these are still in progress. This one, I finished all the books that I own. I don't know if I'll continue with the series or not. This one I'm up to date, but there's still more coming out. Let's see. I'm not even sure what that series is. I'm also up to date with the Locked Tomb, but there's still more coming out. I think there's a novella left that I need to read from Villains series. Cosmere, I'm up to date, I believe, because I just read Isles of the Emberdark. And the couple of these, I only have one left, but they're still there. So, yep, no, still need to read all of those. My rewards, my punishments. I do have some new punishments to add as well. I want to go over the main changes. So at the start of every year, it doesn't matter what I read in December because January starts fresh, and we always start at the start spot. This is where I'll start, although in December I ended way over here, but I will start here, and it's a brand new round. And then I have my normal 6-sided die that I always use for just regular rolls. And then I have all of my others. So I actually found a green 6-sided die that actually matched all the rest of them, but there's only one. I have my D20 for when I land on my D20 spot. I do have a D12 and a D10. The D10 I roll for Amazon borrows and things like that. The D12, you probably won't see much in the coming year. And then I also have my D4 and my D8. So what's going to happen this year for 2026, since one of my goals is to read less than I did in 2025, because that was just out of control, insane, too many books for me to be able to keep up with. So I will always roll a D8 to see how many rolls I will be doing. And then if I get a whole bunch through doubles and things like that, that's totally fine. But I'm going to always roll the D8 to see how many rolls I will be doing. And if I only get 3 books in a roll, then I only get 3. If it's a 1, then it's a 1. I'm not going to worry about saying if it's less than 4, then I will roll again or anything like that. We'll just kind of play it as it is and see what happens. It'll be an interesting year. So again, I don't have to worry about my rewards or punishments. You will see any new ones coming up in future months, but I don't need them this time because it doesn't matter what I did in December. If you want to know how I play TBRopoly and my rules and everything for that, I will leave that video linked up in the cards above as well as in the description box below, and I will also link my playlist if you want to see some previous games. All right, let's go ahead and see how many rolls I will be doing for January. 6. That's a good number. I'll take it. As you can see, I got 6 rolls, so I think that is a great start to January. And hopefully I will get to choose most of the books to be able to get book club books and readathon, year-long readathon books kind of snuck into the TBRopoly. That would be great. All right, let's go ahead and move on into roll number 1. We will start at the start spot and then move clockwise around the board. So let's go ahead and start with roll number 1. A 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 TBR jar. That's exciting. So I have my handy dandy Brute trash can by Rubbermaid here. And I did kind of go through these and take out any ones that I have already read. Soulbound. All right. Not sure what that book is, but I'll be reading it. Well, roll number 1 wasn't really helpful with me being able to pick out my own TBR now, was it? But it's always fun to dig into the TBR jar and see what chaos it's going to bring to my life. And for this one, it was Soulbound. And that is by Bethany Adams, and it is the first book in the Return of the Elves series. And I've had this on my Kindle for a while, so it's definitely a TBR vet as well. And that's about all I know about it. It has elves. The cover's pretty. So there we go. Roll number 2 of 6. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A nonfiction. Perfect. Roll number 2. I landed on nonfiction, and I kind of debated back and forth which way I wanted to go with this one, but I decided to go with one of the books I have as an ebook, and that is Courage is Calling by Ryan Holiday. And I kind of have like a loosely made goal of reading all of the Ryan Holiday books that I own for 2026. So hopefully. Roll number 3 of 6. A 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A series. Oh, I forgot. Let's go ahead and shuffle all of the cards here really quick before I pick my series. And the readathon prompts, which I should probably go through some of these because they are from past our fantasy bingo and horror bingo, and some of those that are from previous readathons that aren't applicable anymore. And I do still need to add my 26 and 2026 cards in here. My odd cards. Oop, I missed one. Ooh, that one doesn't want to go in there. And these will be a lot easier to shuffle once I get them all laminated. Okay, my series cards. All right, there we go. Okay, series. A Dance of Fire and Shadow. That's the one. I don't know what it is. I guess I'll find out. Roll number 3 was a series card, and that was to read A Dance of Fire and Shadows. And this is the one that I had no idea what this was. I'm like, I don't even remember reading any books in that series. But I have read the first book in the series. It is by Jay Aspen, and the second book is Ice Blade. And I am looking forward to reading it. I thought the first book was really interesting. I enjoyed it, and I wanted to continue, which is why I wrote it down. So Ice Blade by Jay Aspen, the second book in the Dance with Fire and Shadow series. Roll 4 of 6. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. TBR jar again. All right. Whoop. Oh, that one fell out. Let's go ahead and just use that one. Kraken Rider. Awesome. That's David Estes. Roll number 4 again. TBRopoly is not being nice about letting me pick my own TBR. So far, I've been able to pick 1 out of 4. But we did get to dive into the TBR jar again, and that was Kraken Rider Z, and this one is by Dirk Ashton and David Estes, and it is the first book in the series, and I know the second book is also out, and I'm excited to dive into this. Anything that David Estes writes, I thoroughly enjoy. Love his writing. Now, I'm thinking, having this in the midst of the game idea, that something should happen whenever I pass start, because in Monopoly, when you pass go, you get to collect $200, right? Maybe it's something that I could like store up until the end. And if I get so many whatevers from passing the start during one game, then I can get a book or remove a prompt or swap a prompt. Or if I have 6 of them, then I can null and void a punishment. Something like that, I'm thinking. Let me know what you think, if you think that is a fun idea or not. And if you have any thoughts that could be fun, let me know what that would be. And for now, I will keep track of how many times I pass go in a single game. Or the start spot. All right, roll 5 of 6. 10, our first double for 2026. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So close. Okay, so even number, so even card. Whoops. And that is a book club book. Perfect. Definitely need that. Roll number 5. Got our first double of the year. It's kind of exciting to get the first one. So we got first double. So now we have 7 rolls instead of 6. So again, roll number 5 was an even card. And that was to read a book club book. Yay, I get to pick my own book for this one, and it's one that's going to be on my TBR because I've got a lot of book clubs that I participate in. And this one is What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Raymond Carver. And this one is for the Well-Read Book Club with Carolyn Marie Reads. Roll 6 of 7. Second double. That's a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, look, it's a book club book. Oh, that's hilarious. Roll number 6. You gotta get another double. 2 doubles now in a row. Interesting. 8 rolls total. And this one, I ended up landing on the book club space, which is kind of funny. And for this one, I chose actually it's a read-along book, but still pretty much the same thing. We're all reading it in the same month. So read-along book of The Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead, the second book in the Bloodline series, and this is for the Vampire Academy read-along with Sandra from Got a Thing for Things. All right, so we passed start once and we've had 2 doubles, so we are now on roll 7 of 8. 3. 1, 2, 3. Odd number, odd card. TBR jar. Boy, we really want to get through the TBR jar books. Okay, let's go somewhere down towards the bottom here, and I've got a lot. Let's go with this one. Norse mythology. All right, I like it. Roll number 7, we got an odd card, and that was to read a TBR jar pick. Really, TBRopoly? Why are you picking all the books for me? I want to pick some books. But that's okay. We ended up getting... Oh, I just dropped it. Okay. Norse mythology, and I actually have 3 of these books that start with Norse mythology and not like the Norse mythology or Norse mythology tales or something like that. There's actually 3 that are called Norse mythology, and I didn't put the author on here, so I just picked one, and that is Norse mythology, and this is by Marie Campbell, and I think it's got 9 different tales. It's an introduction to Norse gods and goddesses with Vikings and Norse myths, Vikings and Norse Norse civilization. So it sounds kind of fun, very interesting. I do like Norse mythology. I think it's really interesting, so I will enjoy this one. Roll 8 of 8. Nice. 3. 1, 2, 3. Amazon borrows. Perfect. All right, so we have my 10-sided die, and that is a 9. And pull out my reading journal for next year. Oh, there we go. And book number 9. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, perfect. I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. This is on my Horror Bingo Readathon, as well as Herkied. Sweet. My final roll 8, only got the 2 doubles, so not too bad. And this one I landed on Amazon Borrows, which again, kind of out of my choice. I don't get to add a whole lot of readathon books on here, but that's okay. TBRopoly usually knows what I need to read as opposed to what I want to read, so here we go. In this one, I rolled my 10-sided die, and I think it was a 9, and I got I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. This one I'm very excited to read, actually, because it goes with the Horror Bingo Readathon, and possibly I might have it for our Fantasy Bingo too, I'm not sure, but definitely for the Horror Bingo Readathon. So I'm very excited to read this one, and I have seen the movie, but I know there's some differences between one being zombies, one being vampires. We'll see what I think. Hopefully it's not too scary. The movie wasn't too bad, so hopefully the book isn't too scary. But of course, you know, that's not all I'm going to read. I do have some book clubs, read-alongs, and then of course the year-long readathons. I am not doing any month-long readathons that I know of. I am avoiding looking at anything that says readathons for January, so I don't get excited about any of them and start doing them. So just easing into the new year with just the year-long readathons. Let's go ahead and start with Year in Aldea. So I did find out that Year in Aldea will be the same as last year, so we can just take a different path. And for last year, I did choose 1B and 1C for my 2 characters, and those 2 characters, Ariel and Karasu, have now graduated and they are off doing their occupation in the world. And I will continue now with Luminara and Castian, and they will choose 1A and 1D, so it's different than what I had last time. The prompt is the same for all starting points, and that is to read a book published in 2024. Now, I'm sure we could probably go with read a book published in 2025, since we're moving into the next year. I went ahead and kept it as 2024, which I probably shouldn't have, because I looked at every single one, none of the books on my TBR were published in 2024. 2023, 2025, 2019, 2016, 1980s, the 1800s, 1900s, yeah. So I did choose 2 books, and these ones, if I don't get to them and I read something different in February or whatever for the prompts, this one I'm not putting pressure on myself. I'm just, if I get to them, wonderful. If not, that's fine too. And the 2 books I chose are The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. This is the 2nd book in the Dream Harbor series, and I've heard great things about this one, and I know they're quick and easy reads, they're fun, and cozy, and I'm looking forward to reading it. And then the other one I chose is The Familiar by Leigh Bardugo. Love Leigh Bardugo. I will definitely read everything that she writes at some point. And this is one step towards finishing all of those. Buzzwordathon with Kayla from Books and Lala. And this one is the title prompts and the cover prompt. And if you can find one that does the 2 together, then that's great. If not, then you can read 2 different books. You can just choose one and not read the other, vice versa. Here we go. For January, you need to read a book with the word before or the word after in the title. And of course, I had absolutely none. None at all. And I did look through my digital books just to make it easy. And I did find one, and that is Before the Shadow by David Green. And this one says it is a prequel to the An Empire of Ruin series. So it's a short story prequel for that. But it also says it's book .5 in Solitude's Shadow. So I don't know if that's like a sister series, like a companion series that goes along with the other one, but either way, it has before in there, so Before the Shadow, and it's going to be short. Cover prompt for Buzzword is an internal body part on the cover. There are lots of them, but ones that were actually on my TBR. And again, neither of these were published in 2024, so that didn't help me with the Aldia prompt either, but let's just add 2 more books. It's fine. Again, if I don't get to all of these, it's totally fine. But I did find a book that I've been wanting to read, and that is Anatomy, a Love Story by Dana Schwartz. Then we move into TBR Knockout with Completely Melanie. And for January, it is the new year, and there are 2 prompts. Again, you can read 1 book, 2 books, double up, whatever. And the first one is a book that was meant to be read in 2025. And for this one I actually have 2. I'm still waiting for Empire of the Dawn to come in from my library. And I'm not expecting it till kind of probably halfway through January, because that's about when I got We Love You, Bunny. And I was first on the list, and I'm first on the list for this one as well. So my second option was I Am Legend by Richard Matheson, because this is one that I've wanted to read last year and didn't quite get to it. I wanted to read it for Halloween, the spooky season, but didn't get to it. Another one that would work really well here is A Time of Blood by John Gwynne. Second book in the Blood and Bone series, because I definitely need to continue with that one. And with my birthday, I did get a gift card, so I will be able to purchase that one and hopefully read that in January. So that's another one that can work here. And the other prompt is to read the first book in a series. And again, a couple options here. The first option I thought of was, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, because that's the Catch-Up Book Club book for January. But I still need to read A Time of Blood and A Time of Courage before I can get to that one. Not that it's not the same world, but I still would like to get those 2 done before I jump into that series, because everyone says that one is so good. So instead, I will go with Before the Shadow by David Green, because again, it's short, and it is the prequel novella. Next is Year of Goober with Just from Jashi Curran. And for January, we start with either sourdough bread or banana bread. And again, you can double up or read separate, read one, read both. For sourdough, it is read the first book in a series or a prequel, and this is when I remembered, because I could do Before the Shadow again, but this is also when I remembered, oh yeah, read-alongs. Starting a new read-along, so this one will be a little bit of a spoiler for the read-alongs, but that is A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, the first book in the series. And for banana bread, it's an overdone trope, and I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to read, and if anything happens to fit that, I will put that in here. That's about it. Yeah, that's my thoughts. The other thought I had was maybe I Am Legend, just with the whole vampire plague kind of thing. Yeah, that's my thoughts so far. If you know that any of the books on my TBR for TBRopoly for January fit an overdone trope theme, let me know. I will leave all the links to the channels and the announcement videos down below for you, in case you want to check any of these out and do them yourself. But once upon a readathon, we're at Volume 1, Chapter 1, the core prompts. The first one is to read a mystery or thriller set during winter, and I will be reading one of my book club books, and that is Lenny Marks Gets Away with Murder, and this is by Karen Main. For a book with a dual POV, this is where I think I'm going to plug in A Time of Blood by John Gwynne, but I'm pretty sure I have some other books that'll work for this as well. Possibly A Darker Shade of Magic also? Maybe. Next, roll a d6 and then times it by 100. And I ended up doing this off camera, sorry, but I did get a 6, of course. So a 600-page book. And for that one, the book is actually 682 pages long, and that is Kraken Rider Z by David Estes and Dirk Ashton. Next prompt is A Book You Were Gifted, and for this one I'm going to read Anne of Windy Poplars, the 5th book in the Anne of Green Gables series. And this one I did get gifted by my sister. And then lastly, a book with an immersive setting or standout world building. And few options here. I mean, A Time of Blood would work. I don't know if you can double up on these prompts or not. I didn't check that. I may have to look. So if we can double up, that would be helpful. But if not, I was going to go with A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, because I'm pretty sure the world building there is going to be stellar. And then we have a Volume 1, Chapter 1 companion prompts. I believe these are optional, but I did pick out some options just in case. The first one is a book featuring friendship or found family, and I will be reading Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead, the second book in the Bloodline series. And from what I could tell from the first book, there's definitely some found family here. Next one is a book that is at least 75% blue on the cover and definitely Ice Blade by Jay Aspin. Pretty sure this is almost all blue. And then a graphic novel or manga you can finish in one sitting. Well, my library just got in Saga Volume 12 by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. Can't wait to keep going on with that series. Such a good series. And then lastly, a book that includes a cafe, tavern, or bookshop. And I was like, oh yay, because I just put this one randomly on my TBR for Year in Alia, and that is The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. So at least there's 2 prompts I can use that one for. And then for the January side prompts, and for 1 token, you can do one of the January side prompts. And the first one is a New Year Chronicle, build a 26 in 2026, which is going to be your personal reading roadmap. And I definitely have a 26 and 26 already, and I can leave that linked up in the cards above for you if you want to check it out. A book stack challenge, post photos of a theme to build your book stack. The gift log, post a photo of a gift you wanted as a kid but never got, or your favorite gift as a kid. Yeah, I couldn't really think of anything for this one. Yeah, and I can't even remember like the dolls that I wanted. They weren't like Polly Pockets, but they weren't like Barbie size either. It was somewhere in between. I want to say it was like Dazzle City. Were they Dazzle dolls? Something like that. They were adorable. I liked them, but yeah, I want to say Dazzle. Could be totally wrong. If I can find them, I will put a picture of them up here for you. And then the Village Read, which is the group book for the readathon for the month of January, is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson, the first book in the series. And I have actually already read that. And they said if you have read that, then you can go ahead and read the second book in the series. I have not read the second book yet, so I do have that tentatively. If I have time at the end, I will read Everyone on the Train is a Suspect. For TBR-a-thon with Leandra, the TBR 0, I'm just going to see whatever books I am reading, how they slot into the different games. I'm not going to choose anything specific for that one. As well as Reader's Gauntlet. That one works a little bit more like Herkiad, so I will be kind of plugging things in as I go and trying to fill up all of the squares. For TBR Takedown, I did find a few books that I just kind of randomly went through and read a prompt here, a prompt there, and I did find the first prompt, read a book with a cover that prominently features blue or green. Well, Ice Blade by Jay Aspin is prominently blue. And then you can't tell from this one because it's not colored, but I'll put a picture of the actual colored cover up here for you, and that is Soulbound by Bethany Adams. Another one is pick a book with a title longer than 5 words, and that is Everyone on the Train is a Suspect. Oh, and the other one I was thinking was the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, but that's exactly 5, so not longer than 5. Select a book between 200 to 350 pages. There's quite a few, but Ice Blade works for that. It is 286 pages. And then select a book from 350 to 500 pages, and that is The Golden Lily, and that one is 418 pages. Select a book over 500 pages, Kraken Rider Z by David Estes and Dirk Ashton, and that one's, what would I say, 682? And I think that's all the ones I kind of plugged in for now. There's more, because there's 52 different prompts on that one. Series Takedown. Let's see if I'm going to get any for that. Soulbound is a start of a series. Ice Blade is the second book in the series, so that's 1. Kraken Rider Z is the start of a series. Golden Lily is the second book in a series. Cinnamon Bun Bookstore is the second in a series. And of Windy Populars is the 5th, I think it's the 5th, maybe it's the 4th book in the series. Darker Shade of Magic is the start of a series. Before the Shadows, the start of a series. A Time of Blood, if I do read that one, that would be continuing a series because it's the second book. Everyone on the Train is a Suspect, so that would be a 6. books that I would continue with series. So none of them would be completing them, but at least 6 would be continuing them. That's good. Okay, now we move into book club books. To start with, we have the Catch-Up Book Club with Becca and the Books, and they are up to The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne, the first book in the Bloodsworn saga. And I need to read A Time of Blood and A Time of Courage first, and that's the second and third book in the Of Blood and Bone series. And so I want to get to those first before I can start the next one, so I kind of need to get started on those. Luckily, these books are for 2 months, so January and February, I believe. I could be wrong on that. Is it December, January book? I'm not sure. I need to double check. Game of Tomes with Carolyn Marie Reads. I have not heard yet. Not sure. Goobers Who Read with Just from Jashi Curran. We are reading Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, the first book in the series, and I have already read that one. I've also already read the second book. I do need to read the third one, but I'm just going to say I have read that one and move on since I have enough books on my TBR and I don't want to add any more. And so we have the Hardcore Literature Book Club. Now this one the books are for January and February, so it's a very large book and then 3 really short books. So to start with, we have Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I have heard so many good things about this book and I am excited to give it a try. I don't mind Westerns, so hopefully I'll like it. But again, this one will be for January and February. I don't need to finish it all in January. And then we also have kind of shorter stories with plays for January and February. And that is the Orestia by Aeschylus. Sorry for totally butchering all these names. And then I actually have a book by Sophocles on my bookshelves. Is the one we're reading in that? No. But my library does have it, and that is Oedipus Rex by Sophocles. And then lastly, it is Medea and Other Plays by Euripides. The Well-Read Book Club with Carolyn Marie Reads as well. For January, we are reading What We Talk About When We Talk About Love by Raymond Carver. And then lastly, the In Other Words Book Club with Amanda from the Reading and Writing Life. We are reading Lenny Marks Gets Away with Murder by Karen Main. And then there's also the Words and Influence Book Club, which I like to participate in, and not sure what the next book is going to be yet. I believe they are still finishing The Will of the Many at the moment. I currently do not have any buddy reads, but if anyone wants to buddy read any of the books that I have on my TBR for January, let me know. We can set something up, either on Storygraph or in Fable, whichever you would prefer. And then we move into Readalongs, which you pretty much already heard all of these books so far. For the Vampire Academy with Sandra Got a Thing for Things, we are up to The Golden Lily by Rochelle Mead, the second book in the Bloodline series. And for the Anne of Green Gables read-along with Bookworm.Wander, we are up to Anne of Windy Poplars by Lucy Maud Montgomery, and this one is the 4th book in this series, the Anne of Green Gables series, because the 5th book is Anne's House of Dreams. That one's another good one. So Anne of Windy Poplars, the 4th book in the series. And then I am starting the A Darker Shade of Magic read-along, and this is with Stephanie's Bookverse and a few other wonderful booktubers. And we are reading A Darker Shade of Magic, the first book in the series, and then we will read 1 book per month and then end with The Fragile Threads of Power. And I'm excited for this one because I have wanted to read more of E.E. Schwab. I do love her books, and I have heard so many good things about Darker Shade of Magic. I've actually read the first graphic novel, but that was it. So that's all I really know about it, is whatever was in the graphic novel. So hopefully that gave me a little bit of a heads up to what's going to happen in the book. And that is it. So TBRopoly did me a little dirty with picking all of my books for me and not letting me choose anything. I think I chose 2 out of 8 books. No, I did get to choose 3, 2 book club books and a nonfiction. TBRopoly chose the other 5 for me. So I didn't get as many of the readathon and book club books on there as I was hoping. But I think it'll still be a really good reading month with a very diverse and interesting mix of books. So let me know if you have read any of these books and which one was your favorite. And if there's one that you are really excited to read, I would love to find out. And if you made it this far in the video, leave a tree emoji for this beautiful necklace on the cover of Soulbound. That is so pretty. Yeah. So a tree emoji to let me know you were here if you don't have anything else to say. And please like, comment, and subscribe if you want it, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other bookish content. And until next time, keep reading. Bye!